I want to know what the hell is going on.
3, 2, 1. Is everybody all right?
Yeah,
It sounded like somebody took a tumble there. Jamie, did you hit yourself in the face again?
I did not hit myself in the... I did mess up everything, though. My desk got... Wow.
Oh my God, Jamie, you need to settle down with these.
It's not like we do this every week or something.
I told you guys I had a really shitty day. Today is Salty Jamie, and you're gonna have to deal with it, okay?
She's self-flagellating from for having such a bad day. She's like, I'm sorry, Lord, for all the horrible thoughts I imagined for all the customers that walked in the door today. They didn't deserve it.
Wasn't even customers.
3, 2, 1, clap. Instructions unclear. I karate chopped my desk. Like what? What the fuck?
I'm sorry, Jamie. You're fine. You're okay, right? Can
Yeah,
you medically? Can you continue with the pod?
I have no
Okay.
blood,
Just
no
making sure.
foul.
All right.
I'll get some dirt, rub it in there.
You have no blood. You should get that checked out. I feel.
Well, no blood on the outside. That's the
good,
ideal. Yeah. It was a cold night when we were recording the podcast. All my blood was inside my body, which was a good start. I was introducing the podcast, and I was doing it really dramatically, and I was doing it out loud. My internal monologue became external, and everybody was staring at me. I'm Kelly.
I'm not even gonna try. I'm Keith.
I'm Jamie.
And as Jamie is the only woman in the cast, that means she must be the femme fatale, right? So Jamie's going to kill one and or both of us.
Excuse
Sweet.
me. Excuse me. They're called dames.
Yes, I'm sorry. How dare I call a woman a woman?
You'll have to refer to me as just the broad of the dame all night.
Yeah.
I don't either one or the other.
Yeah,
Whatever you want.
Jesus, that's yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, it's we're a podcast that forces each other to watch movies. We spin the wheels of doom, and we became subject to doing a movie from what we considered ancient or retro times, which is basically anything before 1980. And the genre was pick what you want. I then was forced to pick a movie from an era that I do not like. I very notoriously do not like anything made in the 70s or before. And I had, well, not many things. There have been a few here and there, but not many.
I'm just saying right now, like, I'm pretty sure that out of the three of us, Keith must have made the ancient because he's the only one that wasn't born in before the 80s, right?
Yeah, I made the ancient category.
So he called us ancient. This is what this
Yeah.
is. Massive troll job.
But retro too. That's fine.
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine,
Vintage,
a
I also
30-year-old.
put in there.
Yes, I had a 30-year-old elementary school teacher friend of mine that was referred to her students as vintage and retro. She herself, a 30-year-old woman, is vintage. I'm like, we're cooked, fam. We are totally cooked.
Oh no.
Why do you do this?
Anyways, so I decided to lean into my dislike and go even further back than the 70s or the 60s. I went all the way back to the 40s, and I chose a noir film. The reason being is that I've long been a fan of the aesthetic of noir and like the music and a lot of the different things that come with the trappings of noir film. But I had never really watched many old, like original noir films. I've seen like what a lot of people might consider noir films of the current era, but not the old traditional ones. So I did a quick Google research and read a little bit and figured out that what most people consider the gold standard of noir film is Out of the Past. Had either of you even heard of this movie before?
Absolutely not.
Well, I had not either until I read that faded Reddit post that led to a couple other discussions and a couple of websites that film students and people that know more about this stuff than I do, saying that yes, this was a good place to start. And yeah, it's starring Robert Mitchum, Jane Greer, Kirk Douglas are the three big uns. And then it's also got Rhonda Fleming, Richard Webb, Steve Brody, and Virginia Houston. Directed by Jacques Tourneur. I don't know how. It's French, and I am notorious at my horrible pronunciations of anything baguette related.
Oui.
Yeah, baguette related stuff is not for me. Made by RKO Pictures, the big, huge studio of the time, so that's not surprising at all. It released on November 25th of 1947. So I remember asking you both if you had ever really watched any old school noir, and this might be, if I'm remembering correctly, this might be a first for both of you as well, right?
Yes.
I mean, I think Casablanca is technically considered noir, so no, but
Is it?
yes.
I don't know. I've never seen that one either, so I don't know.
I'm checking now, but I feel like it would be.
I mean, you know, it's got the gumshoe aspect, right? Of all the speakeasies in all the world, you had to walk into this one. You know, it's got that going on. It's Nick Valentine from Fallout, essentially.
For as long as I can remember, I've been getting these flashes, memories of places I've never been, things I've never seen.
Okay, it's not classified as film noir.
Yeah, because okay, so one of the things as a non-noir aficionado, that I was kind of shocked that this movie even took place outside of the United States so much.
Mm-hmm.
I think of the usual aesthetic of noir as you can pretty much take place all in one city. Like Dark City, if it weren't horror and sci-fi, if it were actually grounded in that world, in that city that always had it had the trappings of a noir mystery early on, and then it changed into something else as the movie went on. But it didn't involve them spending time in the Swiss Alps and then in Vietnam and then in Australia for a week, which this movie, they just go wherever they want. They go to Brazil, they go to fucking Acapulco, they go to different places in the country, and they just hop on a plane and fly wherever, all willy nilly like. And that was strange to me. I was not expecting that.
You know, I just realized that technically you could probably classify Who Framed Roger Rabbit as a noir film.
Oh, then shit. I've been a fan of noir for a long time. So apparently it did pretty well. It is considered one of the greatest of all noir films. Everybody seemed to love it. It made a profit of $90,000, which that's the only information I can see right off the top of any kind of like budgeting concerns. And I imagine, I don't know, $90,000 in 1945, that's got to be what, like $47 billion today, right? So I'm sure it was the Matrix of its time. People were dressing like, yeah. I think people were walking around with those short little silly ties for years after this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're going to talk about that.
Oh, yes, I'm sure. And speaking of which, why don't we start talking about the actual movie?
Oh, so let's go ahead and let's talk about the good.
I gotta start with the fact that I love a transatlantic accent. I wish I could do one, but I can't. I haven't mastered it yet.
I'm not going to try it for the first time on the pod for you right now, but I feel it doesn't seem like it would be that hard. It's somebody that's grown up in the Midwest, like our accent isn't that far from it.
Right, it just kind of elongates the vowels and super diction on
push
like
everything
the
to
T's
the front
and C's.
to the front of your face, the mask. And you gotta, and that's one thing I really think that the transatlantic accident. Well, the one was going north, the other one was going west, and they just collided.
That's what you call it when I try it.
Yeah, I think part of the reason why that accent is so popular for film and maybe even theater, a lot of the performing arts, and it kind of transitioned, I think, into a part of the Midwestern accent that we notice as like the news reporter accent or the sitcom accent, that kind of thing. I think it's because the transatlantic, at least, is very big on enunciation, and the consonants are very important. Mm-hmm. You don't say important, you say important. You hear the two different T's in the word. And I noticed that a lot of times throughout this movie is that you could definitely tell what they were saying because they enunciated clearly.
Yes, it wasn't wit. It was wit.
So what is an example of the transatlantic accent? I'm not even sure what that's.
If you think of like a posh white couple, like,
you know, darling, it's very proper and slightly English, but slightly not English, and just a little bit American, a little bit English thrown together so that it's very proper sounding.
So what's it called in all the old movies where everyone talks like this and they go real fast and they give it to you, you know?
That is the cadence of a specific character, but it is in a transatlantic accent.
It's
Well,
like every
it's the newsboy character.
every
It's
male
kind of like
character.
when we think of pirates, we're thinking of one particular British actor's version of a pirate from the 40s or 50s or whatever. Everybody, "Arr, matey," that's not even Caribbean at all.
Much like because all of this came from originally like stage and screen. So if you had a certain cadence to your voice on stage, everybody knew that you were like the sharp talking, wise cracking reporter versus like the detective, or like the ingenue versus the femme fatale versus,
And if you want to imagine a good transatlantic, think about like the first recordings of politicians. When you think of Teddy Roosevelt or Harry Truman or fucking the other Roosevelt, they had to use. They were trained.
Franklin.
Yeah, they were trained in the transatlantic.
The other Roosevelt.
Because I always want to call him.
That's pretty
I always
good.
want to call him Delano or Delano or whatever. I always forget his first name. Is it
Delano.
Franklin or is it Frederick? Or I know it's F. Delano.
Franklin Delano
Roosevelt,
Roosevelt.
Yeah,
FDR.
Exactly. I know who it is. I know who he
Franklin.
is.
Like the turtle. Like, he's very turtle-y.
We had Roosevelt and we had
The other Roosevelt. You got
too.
Roosevelt and the other Roosevelt. What more do you want from me, huh? You knew who I was talking about.
Science.
What, you're going to make me bring up the
Science has gone
wheelchair,
too
huh?
far.
You're going to make me do it. Fine. The one in the wheelchair. You know the one I'm talking.
Oh, wow. We got dark quick.
Keith made me do it. Keith made me do it. Well, speaking of one of the things
That
I
forced
like
your
about
hand.
this movie, like the transatlantic accent, I appreciated the dress. Obviously, the style is one of the coolest things about it. I had to put in
Except for the
parentheses
tie.
minus the ties. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
how did I ever
Okay,
miss
good.
that these guys wearing these really cool suits had ties that look like a joke? It looks like
Nope,
a clown.
Yeah, we got to save that. We're talking about that in a way further column.
Yes. Yeah. But overall, aside from the weird ties, the dress itself, and I'm talking about everybody's style, from the women's night dresses to their quote casual attire, which is better than what a girl would wear to the prom nowadays, but whatever. And obviously all the trench coats. I love seeing all those nice trench coats with everybody wearing hats, and wearing hats that are not sports related. What happened, men? When did we stop wearing cool looking boots and hats that don't have to conform to either country music or sporting events or 4chan?
Right? I honestly, this is the time period my grandparents were like in their prime in, and I have so many pictures of them, and they just look so awesome in every picture because they're always dressed to the nines, because you just didn't leave your house unless you were.
Yeah, I mean, and there's somewhere in the middle. It's kind of like, to quote the one guy at the end of Demolition Man, you guys over here got to clean up a little bit, and you guys over here got to get a little bit more dirty. Like, there's somewhere in the middle. Going to Walmart wearing your shitty sweatpants, like literally like covered in crap, versus having to put on a suit and a tie to go get a pack of gum. There's somewhere in the middle, people. Whatever. Keith, give me one of your goods.
Well, first of all, I'm just going to spoil that I don't have too many notes for this movie, because I was kind of just watching it and forgot for a large chunk to write any notes.
I have a decent
But one of the things that really stood out to me in the beginning was the scene where Jeff Bailey / Mitchum, right after the guy comes looking for him, and he's the little boy helper tells him that he's out of town, and they show him he's with his girlfriend, and they're sitting under a tree and like schmoozing and canoodling. The framing and the dialogue and the music I was like, so this is the kind of movie that George Lucas was referencing when he wrote all of Han and Leia's scenes. It felt straight out of I was like, this is a Star Wars scene. The music that's playing in the background as they're saying sweet nothings to each other, it really, really, really felt like that was that kind of scene was a huge influence on George Lucas's writing.
And I don't know, maybe is there some realism to that? Like, think about this. Imagine stepping up to a teenage couple that are madly in love with each other, and they're quoting sweet nothings to each other, and you overhear it. You're gonna cringe. I know people I would probably cringe if I heard my own pillow talk 20 years ago. So like, was
Or
it that far
now,
off?
really?
Maybe not. Well,
possibly.
see, how
now.
I skip that is that I just don't fucking do it anymore. I mean, we're done.
Such
I'm
a
like, all
romantic
right,
hell. Such a
the
romantic.
money's on the counter. I'll see you later. Jamie, give me another one of your goods.
Something just kind of personal to me is like when they were in Mexico and she ordered a Cuba Libre, which is just a rum and coke with some lime, just in case you didn't know. But my dad used to talk about when he was in Spain how that's what they ordered all the time, and it just gave me warm, fuzzy feelings and reminded me of my dad. So I liked that. And
think about how cool is that to be from the Caribbean, in the sense that like so many different cultures develop their alcohol based on a crop that they have in abundance that they can ferment and turn into cool tasting booze. And you got the Irish, you got the Scots, you got all these people from around the world with all these random things, from potatoes to wheat to apples to blah 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 blah. What do the people in the Caribbean have? Fucking sugar cane. Jesus. Oh, rum is so good. I don't drink anymore, but that's one of the few flavors that I miss, because rum is wonderful. Good rum is a good thing. It is wonderful.
The other next note I have here is that watching the first fight they have, and it's Wit and Joe, and they're fighting, but you see most of the fight in shadows on her face. And I just thought that was super
cool. And we're talking about the big fight that somebody dies, right?
No. It's like the first they just kind of punch at each other.
Oh, okay.
Like it's right in the beginning.
I don't remember that as well.
It's like the first time Joe and Wit get back together, are in the same room, and they talk a little bit, and then they fight. And they cut to them and they punch, and it was pretty action-packed, but they'd cut back to her. And you would see the fight shadows across her face. And I just thought that was a really cool way to frame it.
I think a lot of good directors, and this is probably like beginner filmography 101, but like watching the action is one way to illustrate the scene. Watching everybody's reaction to the action is another way. I'm a big fan of several pieces of media, one that we may eventually cover as a group, so I won't bring it up right now, that the whole piece of media is all about showing you what happens after the dramatic event. Like if somebody gets into a horrible accident and somebody's majorly injured, they don't show you the actual incident. They show you like 3 hours later is when you catch up with the heroes. They never show the major scene on screen, because for most people, that's not really where you live. That moment is here and gone, and what really happens is what happens afterwards, how you deal with it, and that kind of thing. I think it's kind of cool.
A lot of my goods, I'm realizing now, are quotes.
I just put down too many cool quotes, but cool is also in parentheses too, because these are quotes that the language is slightly ham-fisted and slightly poetic. If you were to smash ham-fisted and poetic into one, that's what this is. It's people don't talk like this.
That is one of my notes. That's one of my notes. It was getting to see authentic noir gumshoe lines, like she stepped in out of the moonlight and she was all smiles. That's all throughout the entire movie.
And the movie is framed as a conversation. It's a flashback. He's telling the story to somebody else. Well, half the movie is. So a total reason for that monologue to just be running throughout the entire first half of the movie. And then the second half, you don't need it.
Mm-hmm. I particularly enjoyed, do you always go around leaving your fingerprints on girls' shoulders? Not that I mind. Like, okay.
Yeah,
great.
Everybody was
Just
really fucking forward. Like, everybody's just horny as hell, and like everybody's like, hey, I don't really know you, but hey, if you're interested, I'd be down to bone. Maybe. Wink, wink.
And you can throw me around a little, because I'm kind of into it.
Yeah. I mean, she's just a dame. That's just their lot in life, They're made to be thrown around, according to the men in this movie.
Right. Well, she would, of course, because she was the femme fatale. So, she has to be dirty about it, too. She can't just, like sex. She has to like dirty sex.
Yeah, well, what they consider dirty is, like, leaving your suspenders on or something like that. Who the fuck knows? Or having sex sober. Like, I remember the sex we had last night. It was fucking wild, man. I remember what your boobs look like. Never saw him before. We've been married 8 years. Never saw him. I will say that the language, Keith, you brought up after the movie initially ended that the language is a little bit off-putting at times to you, or it was a little bit hard to get into at times. And I can get that, because this felt like watching Shakespeare, but not Shakespeare, if you get my drift. I'm not comparing this to old English.
And that's not that's not this movie's fault. That's just of the times thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's like people don't talk like that, at least in my experience.
No, they
so.
absolutely don't.
In your
no,
lifetime.
And I would imagine even people in the 40s, and it has to do with the poetic license that the writers give these characters, that they came up with lines on the fly that it took a writer a couple hours sitting in front of a typewriter to think of something that concise, but also a little bit jilting towards the other person, but also ambiguous, so it doesn't really give away their true intentions. Like, every line is finely crafted from a certain point of view. Speaking of fights, I really enjoyed the big fight. There's a big fight, I don't know, halfway through the movie, because it's near the end of his flashback. And he gets in a fight with this guy, and it actually drags on for a little while, and it's, two guys just duking the shit out of each other. So yeah, even though it's very much just a traditional fight between two men on screen, not only does it also do the trick that Jamie brought up earlier, that there are times where we're seeing the action by looking at the third character, the woman, as she's watching the fight, and we're seeing the shadows, and we're seeing her face react and her body react when she winces when you hear a real heavy thud and that kind of stuff. But we never know who's got the upper hand or what's going on. But I will say that when the camera does cut to the men fighting, it was one of the fastest, most like volatile fight scenes that I've seen on TV or in movies in a long time. Like, I would say that those characters in this movie punch faster than Iron Man and Thor on screen. Like, we can imagine that Iron Man and Thor, they're probably moving faster than our eyes can detect, so the movie has to put it in slow motion. Actually, on screen, these guys in this movie were going whack, 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 like real people fucking fight. Like, they were throwing, it looked like a hockey fight is the way I put it. And it I don't know if that's realistic, but it felt a little bit more realistic than like watching Star Trek fights where people like double fist chop another person in the back and stuff. Like, that shit never happens in a real fight.
And when you get that, like the pause and like the setup and that I'm going to slowly move this way so I can get.
I blocked it.
Like every hit is very calculated and thought out, as opposed to
it's not fisticuffs. You're trying to beat the fuck out of the person.
Mm-hmm.
Right. One of my goods is that the sets feel really deep. Like, I don't know how much of it was shot on locations and how much was set on the lot. And I do know that they used to set up the lot so that you were moving kind of through a house more than just like a scene here and then you walk over there. But everything felt deep and realistic and fully fleshed out as opposed to as a set.
Yeah.
Like, they moved from room to room, it flowed. And
I have written down, because it made me laugh in the good column, Hispanic Twink Amos.
That is one of my goods. It's near the end, but it is one of my goods. Okay, we have to explain this to the listener. Please, Keith, explain. What the fuck does Hispanic Twink Amos have to do with this movie?
Okay, so what's the actor's name? I know the character Amos from The Expanse, but the actor
Wes Chatham.
Yeah, Wes Chatham. So this the deaf boy who like helps out at the gas station where the main character worked. I was like, God, who does he look like through the whole movie? And then near the end, when he shows up in the woods with his fishing rod, I'm like, that's who it is. He looks like a twink version of Amos. And
then I threw in the Hispanic aspect to it too.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm right there with you, but he's got a little bit darker skin, and he's got just a little hint of Latin in him or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's a slightly more angular face because Wes Chatham has sort of a roundish face, but like the cheekbones and the eyes and the mouth and the nose placement, and like he really looks like Amos.
And just very small version of him too. Like Amos would have definitely protected that guy.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
I appreciated in this movie that there's this weird, I think it's like left over from like medieval and Renaissance times, but there's like this honorable slapping that's allowed in society at this point. Apparently, if we're to believe media, like it is totally acceptable for me to walk into a place of business and reach across the counter and slap the person behind the counter if I have an actual quarrel with them.
Yeah.
As long as I can explain to everybody around me, no, you don't understand. They pissed me off. They took my car and they didn't ask me first. Whack! And everybody would be like, yeah, all right, well, what are you going to do? He took his car. A bitch gets slapped for that kind of shit. You know, like
and that's in your good column.
In a way, because, and this is how I want to bring it up.
It's in my good column.
This is how I want to bring it up, is that there was like an honor to it. And I appreciate that. I'm glad that as a society, we don't slap each other anymore. But even though this movie was violent, there appeared to be like, there's an unspoken promise that I'm only going to slap you as hard as I feel gets the point across. And like, if I feel like I have wronged you, then you are allowed to slap me back too. As evidenced by there's a character in a scene where our main character, our protagonist, ends up beating the shit out of a guy at one point. He knocks him out to get past him and do his little dastardly plan. And then later on, he gets captured. Our hero gets captured. And the guy that he knocked out now has the tables turned and he is able to do something to our detective. And he slaps him across the face and he goes to slap him a second time. And our hero puts up his hand real quick and he blocks him like he's some kind of like karate master or something like that. And he says, no, you got the one because I had that one coming. But any more than that, and I'm going to take my hands out of my pockets and you're not going to be happy with that or something like that. And I was like, I can appreciate, and you notice every man in the room immediately just kind of nods like, oh, well, that's fair. That's fair. Like if you were to slap him again and he started beating the shit out of you, we'd let him beat the shit out of you for a little bit because you had that one coming. You had one, you were allowed any more than that. And you're breaking the rules, pal. You're taking liberties when you shouldn't be. And I was like, okay, so they have slapping, which sucks. But at least there seems to be a bit of honor to it most of the time.
Sure, honorable slapping.
And that's why I put honorable slapping with
I am a fan of honorable slapping.
With a question mark at the end. I remember, like, once upon a time, slapping was how you declared a duel against somebody. It means I'm so offended by your presence that I'm willing to die or kill you. Okay, well, yeah. That's pretty serious. I guess you're allowed to slap me. The slap is the lowest form of offense at that point. I'm just spitting on the ground at your feet.
I feel like society might be a much better place if we still had the honorable slap as an acceptable form. Because there are some people who need
I'm going to go a step further and say it would be better if we still had duels.
Here's the problem. All the kind, empathetic people you know wouldn't ever want to go out of their way to slap somebody. The people that are psychotic and sick would want to go out of their way to find people to slap as often as they possibly could. So that's why you got to say, okay, how about It's like teaching a kindergarten class. It's like just because one kid says,
well, I could do this and it's not that big of a deal.
No, how about no slapping anybody? Anybody.
What if I slap myself?
No slapping anybody. How about we just don't hit anybody or anything?
I'm just saying. Bring back the honorable slap. I'm pro honorable slap.
Hey, it's in my good column. It's got a question mark because I'm not 100% sure how I feel about it, but at least there was some honor to it, which saves it a little bit of face. We often talk about how movies, you could take a good movie, at least, is that every frame is a painting and you could take a picture and put it on the wall and frame it at just a random frame 732 out of 10,000, put it on your wall and it's going to be beautiful. This movie has a lot of that. Obviously it's black and white and it's, lower definition and all that stuff, but it still is very striking to look at. They did a lot with the two colors they had, and the gradient between. But the funny thing is that I bet you good money that if we just took a random frame, if we just picked a random frame between the first and the last frame, there is a 60 to 70% chance that is going to be on screen a man wearing a coat standing around with a cigarette in his hand.
Very likely.
And to the point where even when we go out into the woods, fucking our main character runs away and he runs off to the woods and he's completely roughing it. And then when somebody finally catches up to him, where is he? He's standing next to a river, just standing there with his suit on, with a cigarette in his hand. They just painted a different scene around him. They just picked up the character, bloop, and pointed him and dropped him off in an outward setting.
Like I said, Robert Mitchum was smoking so much on set that at one point he walked into the scene. And the line in the scene was cigarette as Kirk Douglas's character offers him a cigarette. And he realized he was already smoking. He was like, no, I already got one, thanks. And then lit Kirk Douglas's cigarette off of Robert Mitchum's. So it's very possible that he wouldn't have been smoking as much if he wasn't actually just smoking that much.
And go figure, that was one of the more really natural looking scenes, because you can see the kind of like grin on Kirk Douglas's face where he goes, oh yeah, I'm supposed to offer you a cigarette or a light.
Well, remember, this is the time when 9 out of 10 dentists recommended Camels and shit like that. You know, like that's
right.
So.
You can't sleep? Get yourself a Virginia Slim.
That lasted a lot longer than people think. I remember my mom telling me stories about the doctor at one point prescribing her a pack of cigarettes to take home.
That's silly. Smoke 10 of these and call me in the morning.
I have 2 more good. Anybody else have goods?
I'm out of good.
I have one more. Mine's another line.
Go ahead,
though.
Jamie.
The line, Joe couldn't find a prayer in a Bible.
Yeah.
How great of a picture does that paint?
That's what I'm talking about. The lines, if you were to just cut parts of the script out and just type it as your status on Facebook, people would think, holy shit, that's poetic. That's deep, man. And the problem with this movie is that it's back to back to back to back to back to back to back profound but ambiguous lines, which is one of my goods, and probably one of my favorite goods about this. But it's a double-edged sword, is the ambiguous but yet expressive way they speak. Every word that comes out of their mouth feels intentional, and it drives the sentence in a direction, sometimes in a direction you weren't necessarily expecting them to go in. So it's really expressive speech. But what are they saying content-wise with their speech? Nothing. Nothing of value most of the time. As a matter of fact, most of the characters in this movie, when they're acting in their own self-interest, which is often, they purposely go out of the way to obscure the truth from as many people around them, because there's power in knowledge.
Yep, I agree. You know when you find something really awesome and you just want to like tell everybody about it?
Like a cool rock.
Oh, yeah.
Or a great movie.
A nice stick.
Well, that could be us, and you could share us with all your friends.
I want to share the rock, but I don't want to share the stick. Am I a weirdo that way? Like, I want to show you my rock, but my stick, you can't touch it.
That's not...
Sounds
well.
Why do you do this?
What I want you to do, bud, is get yourself a tape recorder and just go ahead and record yourself for a whole day.
You'd be surprised at some of your phrasing.
If my life was geared around the idea of don't let anybody touch my stick, it would have turned out differently. Let's just say that.
Right?
You should find cool rocks and share them with your local bank and Starbucks windows.
No, please don't. Please don't.
With the current state of the world, don't invite in that kind of attention to yourself. Right. Just get your coffee and move on.
Yeah. Wink, wink.
So let's say you listen to one of our episodes and you enjoy hearing what you heard, or you dislike what you heard. The best place to go about talking about this is on YouTube, is on Blue Sky, is on Insta, is on Facebook. But aside from these social medias, you know where we have the most meaningful conversations with our fans?
Well, that would be Discord. They're your favorite place on the internet to go rant and rave, possibly besides Reddit. We know y'all have one already. So why not just come be a part of ours? You can be like me and you can have like, I don't know, let me look right now. I'm looking, I have possibly like 7 to 12 like fandom Discords I'm in that I just ignore.
Exactly.
Come do that.
And I realized that I called our listeners fans, and all of a sudden I'm reminded that it's the relationship between us and our listeners is less of like a star and a fan, and more of like we're like an elderly person and we're being helped down the street by the people that are nice enough to listen to the podcast. That's a bit more of an appropriate.
It's like, okay, we're talking today about Lady Hawk. Yeah, okay, Grandpa, let's get you back.
Interspecies erotica.
Oh God, they're doing the Muppet thing again.
You could also review us at any of the places you can find a podcast. We'd love to see your review, and if you do review us, we will read it on air.
Oh yeah, speaking of Kelly, I believe we have a brand new shiny review for you to read for us. Everyone gather around.
This review was given a while ago. I just don't think we ever got to reading it for everybody, and once you see what the review is about, you'll understand why. It's important for us to have this kind of message get out there in the world. And the review goes like this. They give us 5 out of 5 stars. Thank you. And it says, the Screen Share and Chill podcast is the podcast I've always wanted to start myself. One of the few things I love more than movies is talking about them with fun people. The hosts are great and complement each other well. The pacing is also nice. Kelly has a very nice listening voice with a smiley face emoji.
Okay, now here's the thing, dear listener. You cannot tell Kelly this kind of thing. His head is already like so big he can't make it out of his apartment door. So
yeah, if I lean too far to one side, it just kind of topples over and I land on the ground. It's hard for me to get back up.
Wonderful review. Thank you for that. But let's not do any more like that.
Don't
let's
feed the
give some
bears.
compliments to
Or
me and Jamie.
Kelly has anxiety, and and he's an artist, so any compliment you give him just gets soaked up like a dried out leaf soaking up water from the soil. So please keep the compliments coming. But yeah, that was very nice. That was a very nice review. So thank you very much for that. Would you like us to read your words? And you know what? Don't think that we'll only read the 5-star reviews. If you give us a 1-star review, I'll fucking read it. Don't even try
I can't
me.
wait.
Don't even try
I can't
me.
wait for the first negative review for us to
Yeah, we
read
got a
it.
1-star, but they didn't actually leave any text. They just gave us a 1-star review.
Yeah,
And I'm
boring.
like, what a wasted opportunity.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, right? Yeah, so as long as it's not illegal, we'll read it on the air. If you like openly dox us, I'm not reading my
Anyway,
social security number.
give us some money, huh? We know you got some. Half of you people out there, it's just falling out of your pockets. So like, why not just give us some? Rent us a movie.
Yeah.
It costs.
Believe it or
you
not,
know,
this costs money. It costs us money to put on this. Not only does it cost us money, but we put a lot of time into it. We try to make a really good product for you. So, help us out. We're independent, small-time content creators. If you're enjoying our show, toss us $5, toss us $10. Hell, buy us a trip to Cancun. I've never been to Cancun. That would be nice,
Yeah, do you have your
Yeah.
passport? Because you have to have your passport.
Yeah, who am I kidding? I can't leave the country. And
Key
come back
West.
safely. That's
Key
not-
West is in this country. That's a nice place. We'll take Key West.
Besides, yeah, if depending on when you go to Cancun, like if it's during the winter, you have a 50-50 chance of running into Ted Cruz. Oh, but you're supposed to give us money on Ko-Fi. We didn't say Ko-Fi. Go to
Yeah, Ko-Fi.com/screen share. That's probably an important part of doing an ad. We are such professionals.
Yes.
We are so good at this.
consummate
Cue Christian
professionals.
Bale.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much for listening to us, and we're sorry to interrupt your episode to do this. We don't enjoy doing this any more than you enjoy listening to it, but we got to get the word out there.
That's
we
a
gotta,
good one,
we
Kelly.
got to get more people.
Let them know how much we hate doing this.
Yeah, you know what? This little conversation we had, I regret every moment of it just because I hate, yeah, believe that. Believe me, I hate talking on the mic. I never, ever want to do that.
And now back to the show.
My last good is the fact that there were 15 seconds of credits.
That's because there were 7 minutes of credits.
Yeah,
to
We're
start.
not on that column yet. We're still on the good. The good thing was when this movie was over, it was over. It was
You're done.
the end. All right, get the
That's
fuck
all,
out.
folks.
Get the fuck
Yeah.
out. Finish your fucking popcorn in the street.
Why are you still in the theater? Get out
Get
of
the
here.
fuck out.
I gotta clean up.
Yeah, and that's the end of my goods.
All right. If that's the end of our goods, then that can only mean that it's time to talk about the bad.
Wait.
Oh. That's where this is going. Okay.
Isn't that where we're going to put it?
Sure, why not? Let's go
You
ahead.
want to put it after the bad?
Yeah, I was thinking to put it after the bad.
Okay, so
'cause
yeah,
it
let's
was
just
silly
pretend
to
like
me.
you said, let's talk about the bad. We'll just go on from there. That's fine.
All right. My first bad is tossing a cigarette in a gas station.
Jesus Christ, everywhere. That is a big one for me, is throwing matches and lit cigarettes. I listed some of the places before I stopped writing anymore. These are some of the places that somebody throws a lit match or a lit cigarette. A forest, a gas station, and inside, what is this? Oh, inside the car while he was driving. He just threw it on the floor of the car he was driving. It was a lit cigarette. He didn't even put it out. He just chuck it right between his own fucking legs. Like, what kind of world did you all live in that it was just littered with cigarettes everywhere? Jesus Christ.
Yep.
My first bad note is that the movie starts with that one character coming up to the deaf boy,
No.
and like, first of all, The boy can't hear him, so he's trying to get his attention.
Call him by his name, Hispanic Twink Amos, please. Thank you.
He is that guy.
Yep. That's a good joke for all the
I am that guy.
yeah, the Expanse fans out there.
That's Amos for Pride Month.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, he's like throwing things at the boy to try to get him to pay attention because he's not paying attention. And then when he finally gets his attention and realizes he's deaf, he says, "Can you read lips?" And the boy says he can. So the guy shoves a cigarette in his mouth and starts talking at him. Like, that doesn't absolutely change the way you're saying anything.
Can you read lips? Yes. What? What the fuck did you just say? Why don't you chew gum while you're smoking that cigarette and face the other direction? That'll all help.
Right.
One of my bads is a lot of old vistas. You can tell that this movie definitely got a kick out of looking at vistas, but not in a way that, like, some movies use it to really establish, I don't know, the setting if it's unfamiliar.
Sure they do.
Bad movies don't.
Like
Bad
Conan.
movies don't. Bad movies use vistas, and this goes back to like pre-podcast movie night days where we used to complain about movies. I remember Krull. We watched Krull as a group, and that was the big complaint that everybody had. Was the vistas were like 20 to 30% of the movie was just dramatic music with vistas in the background. I'm like, come the fuck on. I like the movie if you just hurry the fuck up. And this movie did a lot of the same thing. And it just made me think, like, it's not necessarily a negative against the movie because it's the absurdity of media as it ages. Some media ages really well because it leans on good storytelling or really good effects and a lot of just basically like the characterizations and the depth of everything that's going on. The media that doesn't quite translate is when you have these scenes where it just spends 20 minutes celebrating the fact that you are watching this in the setting that we assume that you're watching it in. Like watching Star Trek, the motion picture, there's a good 12-minute section during the middle of the movie or during the beginning of the movie where the camera just pans around the Starship Enterprise while the cast is just going, look at her. Isn't she beautiful? She sure is. Sweeping music for 5 minutes while we look at it from another angle. And it was like, this is just Star Trek fans getting off in the theater because they're seeing their baby on the big screen for the first time. And this movie felt like that, like, hey, people that haven't really been to see a lot of talkies, guess what? You can look at mountains. Look at these mountains. Doesn't it look cool? Doesn't it look cool? All right, back to the movie. And watching this movie 80 years later, it's so quaint because it's like that was unnecessary. You didn't need to show me 30 seconds of different mountain ranges. I get you. I get it.
I think that must be because, like, I put so much setup between each scene.
Yeah. They like the vistas were nice. They just took way too fucking long. The novelty wore off very quickly as a viewer in 2020, right. Whatever.
So this is not necessarily the movie's fault because I know that you can't predict the future, but I feel like certain stories are universal, but this is one of those stories that I feel like cell phones and security cameras completely like destroy the plot and like can prevent any of this happenstance.
Well, shit, even if
occurring.
Somebody just came back to that one guy's apartment. So in one part, a character gets killed and another character is supposed to be getting framed for it. But the problem is that somebody hides the body. So nobody knows that person's dead. And I'm thinking, just wait a couple hours, man. Go back in the hotel room tomorrow. You'll find the body. Right. Even if you don't see it, you'll start to, no, he took it out of the room, didn't he?
Yeah, he ended up burying it.
That's right. At first I thought he was just going to like hide it underneath the bed or something like that. And I'm like, dude, that'll work for like an hour. That's not going to work very long, man.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? It's like Seinfeld. People say that cell phones destroy every plot of Seinfeld because it's always miscommunication and misconnection.
Which is all fine when you're looking at like, but there's so many, if you're going to nitpick about that, there's so many movies that are taking place now that have the same issue.
Yeah, sure.
It's different now because in real life, we have much more computer-mediated communication in the sense of like we communicate through screens and stuff like that much, much more, which is a completely different type of communication. So now we have you being available 24/7, but there's a much higher chance of being miscommunicated in that time that I do get to speak to you. Like it's a completely different set of issues. So like any rom-com that comes out nowadays, you have to take texting into account. You have to take Snapchat or TikTok or whatever the fuck, something like that. You have to take social media very seriously because it's a big part of relationship. It's one of the things that I love studying when I was like later in my school years, was looking at how social media affects personal relationships between people and friends and stuff even. Like, what does it do when you see your romantic partner change their profile picture to a picture of them with somebody else of the opposite gender, somebody the same gender as you, let's say? What if it's somebody that you don't know who they are and they've never had you as their profile picture? Does that make you stressed out? Like shit like that. That's so interesting that these are not problems that people had in the 40s and the 60s and the 80s. And
I have to say, unlike Keith, and maybe it's because I've watched a lot of classic films, so much classic film. Like I used to watch 3 or 4 a summer. The soundtrack is like every other movie of the time period. Like it's just canned the exact same music. It's not even different. It's just, this is what we play when the lovers are canoodling. This is what we play when they're driving down the road. This is what we play when they're sitting next to a lake. Like, it drove me insane.
yeah, the music feels less like an artistic expression and more like a lit up sign that they put above the stage, telling you applause, sad noises.
Well, and to be fair, like at this point in time, that's exactly what the theaters did. You had a set of actors, and your actors played the same parts every time, and the music came from the same place, and everything was just canned and thrown together because you only saw maybe a movie a year, maybe 2 if you were lucky.
Imagine this rewritten today with different language, with better soundtrack, different acting styles. Because obviously this is still in that era where they acted like they were on stage. Maybe that's part of why I could wrap my mind around it more, is that early in film, they acted no different than they would act on stage. And now a stage actor acts very different. You act much bigger than you do when you're acting in front of a camera, because subtlety comes across much differently. But, yeah, and maybe that just is the reason why it might have worked for this a little bit better for me, is because it's so distant from what it doesn't look real.
Right.
And the music is part of that. It's just set dressing, man. It's the same as the Foley. It's just as important to the director as the Foley is. So another one of my bads is what's up with all the slapping? Jesus Christ, everybody is fucking slapping each other. Everywhere you go, the world is lousy with people just whack, whack. Hey, how's it going? I'm doing fine, you son of a bitch. How are you? Oh, I'm doing fine, Jerry. Like, what the fuck? Everybody put your hands down and stop hitting each other. Please.
I do have the line.
Manners.
The line, I should slap your face and send you home.
And when somebody says that in this movie, they're serious.
Yes.
They will literally slap you in the face.
Yeah, it's not an empty threat.
And a cop could be standing there watching him. The cop would go, well, he deserved it.
Or he didn't, so you better slap him back.
So that's why even though I put slapping in the first column, I knew there was this coming later, that don't worry, I get you. It's really fucking weird how much people are slapping each other. I'm so glad as a society we have evolved past this. People not throwing lit cigarettes into open gas containers and into the woodland, and people stop slapping each other in public without recourse. Yay.
Ooh.
Well, who knows if we're going back that way.
Bring back ethical slapping.
My last bad is the overture. As much as the final credits were a nice welcome release, that overture was a good solid 5 minutes where I'm like, I'm ready to watch the movie. I'm sitting down and I'm waiting.
You were SpongeBob.
And we're listening to the music, that the music is completely bullshit, non-committal. Like, even Disney credits sounded better than this of the era. Like, when I watch Robin Hood, or if I like, come on, the credits are so much better than this shit. Monty Python and the Quest for Holy Grail had better opening credit music than this did for the overture. Because the overture is very generic. I didn't really give a shit about it.
The overture is literally, like, it plays the same music that plays throughout the entire movie.
Well,
and there was nothing in the movie that stood out and was, like, unique and inventive.
Well, I would assume that the overture would do that. But I did not want to put too much stock in how much thought went into, like, was there a love theme that was definitely unique to this movie? Was it a love theme that was just borrowed from their stock collection? I don't know.
I would say it was borrowed from their stock, 100%.
So, like, is the overture really a collection of good themes? Like, then again, it's a completely different world. Like, nobody went out and bought the soundtrack for this and listened to the overture while they sat in their room. And
also, I didn't say it was a collection of good music.
Oh, yeah,
I said it was the collection of the music.
Oh, yes.
If that's all we have to say about the bad, then that means it's time to talk about our scene spotlight.
I already rolled it. You don't have to tell me twice.
Okay, roll
You
it.
should roll it, Kelly.
Jesus Christ.
Would you please roll
Why
it?
haven't you
No, I'm
started
not turning
rolling
it on
it yet?
Nope. I'm not turning it on yet until you apologize.
I'm gonna slap your face and send you home.
Yeah.
All right, tell us about the scene, Keith.
Okay, well, so at the very end, when he's...
Oh my God, spoiler for an 80-year-old movie.
Yeah, when he's absconding with his dame, he has called the police on them, and they have set up a roadblock. And as soon as she sees it, she pulls out a gun and shoots him in the midsection while driving.
Before she does it, she says,
Oh, I forget what she says. What does she say?
"You lying dirty rat," or something.
Yeah,
like
Yes.
that.
yeah.
You
yeah,
turned me in.
So, and then she immediately, like, he's still driving, the car is still moving, she turns the gun through the car without even aiming out of the window at the police that she sees and fires off one shot. The mysterious stranger steps out of the woods with a shotgun and blows her away, and then all the cops start shooting. It's so sudden, and to me it looks really silly, and it's also like I guess maybe this is where we play the "fuck the police" song, because they were just like
They did not
ready.
give two fucks. So, like, the moment you see any kind of hostile movement, it is bedlam time, baby. It's chaos
Start
and havoc.
shooting it up.
So, anyways, I started shooting.
yeah, pretty much how that goes. But I almost laughed because the way she just like aims the gun from within the car and shoots one little piddly-wink pistol round, and then they're just like
like it's Bonnie
They
and
paint her car
Clyde,
with
right?
lead.
yeah,
It was like
yeah.
Bonnie and Clyde all over again.
Yeah, it was like when Khal Drogo pours the gold over the guy's head. It was like that, but with bullets. There was nothing left of the. And then they pull the guy out afterwards, and there's this. Oh my God, is he alive? He's dead. Well, yes, of course he's dead. There were 78 rounds shot into the vehicle that he was in.
Yeah. So it was kind of comical, and like I get the drama of it for when it was, but like watching it now, it just came off as silly to me.
It was the
it's
sudden,
entertaining,
the sudden
but-
chaos of it was entertaining. That's why at first I thought you meant to put this in the good, because it could have gone either way with me. It was very chaotic and silly once it actually like it was done, and then you look back at what you just saw and you're like, wait a minute, But at the moment, there was like, it was a movie that was filled with innuendo of violence, but not very often was there something violent happening on the screen. It was all just a lot of threats and potential.
And slapping.
And this scene, everything just came, and the whole scene lasts maybe 10 seconds.
Yeah,
like it's not long at all.
And the way that I didn't even know it was a cop at first. The guy
Right.
who steps out of the trees is like in shadow, and like they don't show his face. You can't see his
It's Mr.
uniform.
F.
And
It's a mysterious
Yeah,
stranger coming out of the...
yeah, that's what I said. The mysterious stranger steps out of the woods.
And none of us knew it
blasts-
was the cop, because when you said that, Keith and I were like, or Kelly and I were like, wait, what? Oh no, we thought it was a cop. That's right.
Yeah, my brain connected
Yeah.
him as a cop, but he just got like, they picked that specific spot where they were like, she's gonna either die or we're gonna die.
Like-
This is the end. This
like-
is Armageddon right here in the road.
But seriously, back to the mysterious stranger. Like, imagine you play that sound sting from Fallout when he steps out and fires. It would be perfect. That little guitar strum. It's very silly.
I didn't. But when you
It
said
was.
a mysterious stranger steps out, I didn't put the Fallout connection until just now. That's why you heard the excitement in my voice. Because like, oh, like the Fallout thing. I just thought you meant just like a literal mysterious stranger, like lowercase m, lowercase s.
It could be both. Yeah.
Yeah.
So So that is our scene spotlight. Now it's everyone's favorite time, and it's time to talk about the ugly.
Let's start with the fact that it starts off abusing a deaf person, like right from the go.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
Yeah. Like that's my big ugly, is just the casual abuse and misogyny. It wasn't even like, we're not even meant to be seen that them being abusive and aggressive and violent and misogynistic. These are not even necessarily like horrible qualities. They make you neutral. It's, if you do if these same characters donated $1,000 to a local church at the end of the movie, then we're supposed to see them as, well, mostly good. Well, no, they beat the shit out of several people. They constantly derided and were discriminatory against minorities around them, whether they were people with disabilities or people of a different color or people of a different gender. They didn't care. If you weren't a white man, then you were lesser than, and it was just a foregone conclusion. So, and it's a product of its time. So it's like, I'm not going to sit here and hold Kirk Douglas personally accountable and say he has to answer for all the crimes of white cinema in the 40s. But we can't not talk about that either. We can't just ignore it.
Right. What I am going to hold Kirk Douglas personally accountable for was that he was very incredibly physical with his female co-star. He was not play acting with her. He would physically grab her, leave bruises. When he slapped her across the face, he literally slapped her across the face and left a handprint on her face.
Hey, he's just method acting. That's Jared Leto. He was the Jared Leto of his time. It was Morbid time, and she wasn't ready, but he was ready for
Morbid time. Excellent pull. So I knew that you guys were going to talk about that, which is why I have exactly one note written down, and it just says "fat fucking bozo tie."
Oh yeah. I'm glad you brought it up, because I didn't actually have it in the column. But Jesus, those ties. Explain it to us, Mr. Graphic Designer.
I could not believe.
Explain what the tie looks like.
Could not believe what I was seeing. So like the guy's already wearing like a big bulky coat, right? And he stands up. This one particular scene. He stands up in the bar or whatever, and his tie is like 10 inches long and like a foot wide. Like it just.
I don't even know if it was 10 inches
it looks
long.
Like the kind of tie. Like at first, I thought somebody cut his tie off, like they do in the cartoons. Like somebody reaches forward and cuts your tie right off. It looks like that.
He looked like fucking David Byrne, like too big suit, like too stupid tie.
It's very clearly a tie, but it's like cravat length. It is
like mid chest at its deepest. It's like a diamond that comes from your neck, and the diamond, the lowest point of it is at the very center of your chest.
If you've ever seen a hobo circus clown, then you've seen this tie.
That's exactly right. Yes, I was like, every man that's wearing this stupid fucking tie looks like he's a clown. You look like a clown, man.
But now you know where the hobo circus clowns get it from.
Yeah, I guess
from these fucking hard ass detectives that were too cool for school.
Right. God, I fucking hate the way it looked. I was just.
You know what? Maybe that's intentional. Maybe that's what clowns, like society as general, looked back at these clowns as like, look at these fucking idiots treating people like shit. And look at their stupid fucking ties, and they're always drunk, so let's give them a red nose. Maybe we just stumbled into clown aficionados are like, well, yeah, we've been telling people for years, but nobody's listening. And okay, we get it.
Yeah, all he was missing was a fucking squirting flower on his lapel. Like it was genuinely ridiculous.
He might have had it. He might just not have used it in that scene.
I hated it.
Yeah, not a fan.
God,
I'm getting you one for your birthday.
I'll wear it too.
When I come down to see you, I'm bringing you one.
So those were our thoughts, the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to Out of the Past from the 40s. My pick. And now is the time when we don't talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. We talk about the 3+1 questions, which some people would consider 4 questions, but I like to call them 3+1 questions. The first of the 3 questions of which is, if you were to replace the entire cast with the Muppets, except for one human, who would the human be?
Hispanic Twink Amos.
Kirk Douglas.
The one guy that doesn't hardly talk at all, and he's just looking at everybody like they're idiots the entire fucking movie.
100%.
I would love to see Kermit as the detective. I would love to see Miss Piggy as the femme fatale.
100%.
This
course.
is one of my favorite. I would love to see this done. I'd love to see Kermit acting hard and failing horribly.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful.
The sweet little ingenue would be played by one of the chickens. Gonzo's the guy that wants to be with her, but Kermit's taking the chicken away from him.
There you go. There you go.
You could have them constantly tossing cigarettes, and like Fozzie would toss a cigarette and start a fire. And
Just
Absolutely.
start fires everywhere. At some point near the end of the movie, somebody'd go, "Hey, so should we go back to the club?" Are you kidding? We burnt that down 2 acts ago.
or you don't
Right.
You don't even if it's the Muppets, sometimes they have those subtle jokes. So it'd be like in one scene the guy flicks the cigarette, and then the next scene when the people who are looking at him come there's like firefighters wrapping up in the background.
Yep.
Yeah. And then there's the detective talking to the fire marshal, trying to figure out where this came from.
Yeah.
Who burned down your club? One of you.
At some point in the movie, the fire marshal catches up with them. Don't you idiots realize you've been throwing lit matches behind you everywhere you go?
Right.
You're a menace to society. We need to lock you up, sir. All right, the second question is, what is the promotional popcorn bucket for this movie?
A big stupid fucking tie. It's a big stupid tie tied to a fucking popcorn bucket.
Let's do with the fucking tie.
Yeah.
It pops out. There's a hand in the popcorn bucket. It pops out and smacks you across the
That
face.
could also do it. What about you, Kelly? You got one?
I would just like a brown bag, like a lunch bag.
Okay,
Just
fair enough.
Go with the like, I don't know, it's thematic and it's cheap.
Yeah.
I'd imagine if I ran a theater, I'd be like, oh hell yeah, let's just print like a little thing on the front of it and it'll be a little collector's item, but just throw in a cheap fucking brown bag.
Of note, there is a Saturday Night Live skit that makes fun of this movie when Robert Mitchum started Saturday Night Live in the 70s.
Yeah, I didn't watch it, but I heard from like the reviews said that he was really good natured about it, and he was he was able to like completely mock his old performance and stuff.
Yeah.
So
It was
I
called
love
Out
it as
of
an actor.
Gas.
Don't take your so there you go. Like don't take your shit too seriously, no matter what it is. Like if somebody took one of my songs and turned it into a kid's song, like a kid's bop, I'd be like, awesome, have fun, like I hope you have a great time with it.
I'm just thinking of your new song.
Our last question is, what is your MVP, your most valuable part? Could be a person, could be the character, could be a favorite scene, or it could be something esoteric like the color red. But what was your favorite part, your MVP?
Oh, this one's tough. Like, nothing really stands out for me hardcore like it does sometimes.
And to clarify, we can't pick Miss Piggy, technically.
Right. Because that would totally be it. I'm gonna go with the transatlantic accent because I just love it that much. I wish we still all talked like that.
I'm gonna go with the authentic noir dialogue that I mentioned earlier, just because it was nice to see it in its natural habitat. Because I feel like every time I've seen it in modern times, it's parody or you know, like making fun of it, and so
Right.
it is a little different when it's not making fun of it, when it's taking itself seriously, and it's it's cool in parentheses, right? Like you said, Kelly.
Yeah.
Like at the time, I'm sure it was like people were like wowed by it, and you know it is somewhat poetic, and just seeing it occur naturally and not be a parody of itself was fun.
It's a little pretentious.
Yeah.
Well, you could say the same thing about Shakespeare, that somebody's quoting Shakespeare could easily be pretentious too. But it took artists, because there were several people doing the same kind of movement at the time, but it took all these artists doing it to get us really cool shit that comes from the noir movement too. Like the music we think of when we think of film noir, like that music is fucking cool. It's much better than the actual music I was looking forward to the music in this movie, and it was nowhere near what I was hoping for. But I love actual, like the music that you're thinking of with like the muted trumpet and the saxophone and the wet streets and the pavement. Yeah, I fucking love that shit. It brought us the narrative voiceover for shit like Alan Wake or Max Payne, which are like film noir video games that have horror and sci-fi elements and shit like that to them too. Like so many other pieces of media. Hell, I could look at Star Trek and say that the monologue we get, the Stardate 427864, we found our own buttholes today. That probably
I remember that episode.
is influenced. Yeah, I mean, hey, who can forget when Picard found his own butthole? It was a big moment for everyone on board. Got the Picard Day. He's a role model.
Yeah.
Captain Picard Day?
Yes, it's for the children. I'm a role model.
I'm sure you are.
Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I'm glad that we even got noir, even if this was a little bit cheesy at times. It's fucking worth it. I'm gonna give my MVP to the dress. I love the way, aside from the ties, I loved the fact that like people wearing nice slacks, a button-up shirt, and a nice jacket over top of it. Hats, men. Let's bring back non-country, non-sports related hats. Let's do it.
Fedoras and
But fedora's got a bad name too now. You know, like
But that's
if
what
I'm a
they
white
wore
guy
through most
walking
of the
around with a
movie.
fedora, people are expecting me to milady and tip the cap and
Naruto run.
Actually, don't. No, I'm never gonna.
Fedoras
do that.
are what they wore through most of the movie, just so we're clear.
Anyways, none of these questions really matter. Because really the only question that matters is when it comes to Out of the Past, did you like it? And would you give it a thumbs up?
You really want to do this? Here. Now, yes. Okay. Okay. Let's do it.
I think I'm giving this one a thumbs down. I was kind of bored. It wasn't a bad movie. It's a movie of its time. I don't know that I would personally ever watch it again. I don't know if I would recommend it to anyone. So it's a weak thumbs down. You know how we give a weak thumbs up sometimes?
Yeah.
It's just didn't do anything for me.
Are you saying it's alright? It's okay.
Yeah, it's alright. It's okay.
Jesus told me there's something to live for.
yeah, that's this movie.
Yeah.
Jamie, how about you?
I found myself fighting to stay awake during this movie as well. And it was midday on Sunday. That's never a good thing. So, I'm gonna go with thumbs down as well. Hell?
Hey, I totally get it. The pacing was different, and it's a product of its time. It was a 97-minute movie where they could have easily made this a 100-minute movie. It would have been
That makes it longer.
An hour movie. I meant to say an hour movie. They could have cut a half hour out of this movie plus, and it would have been fine. And you know what it reminds me of, like, I enjoyed the mystery of it. And I didn't look up anything. I didn't know who was the real culprit, who liked who, and even to the point where one of the protagonists, Amos, Twink Amos, at the end says that he thinks that the guy really was going to give her to leave with her. And I'm like, no, I disagree with that because I had a completely different, storyline that it formed in my head. So like the actual storyline, A to B to C to D, was really good. And it reminded me of like reading an above average mystery novel. Like, well, is it going to change my life? No. But did it catch me enough by the end where I'm like, oh, I got to know who did what. I got to see how this all pans out, who lives, who dies, that kind of thing. So yeah, I would give it a thumbs up. But yeah, it's a tepid thumbs up. It's not. I don't know if I'd go back and watch it again. I'm with you, Keith. So I agree with you on that. Just like I would never go back and reread a mystery novel that was pretty good, but I already know the mystery. So what's the point in rereading it again? Mm-hmm. So that was our first entry in our ancient/retro. Pick any genre you want. I picked the 1940s noir classic. The next up is Keith. Keith, what are you going to make us watch?
I'm going to make you cultureless assholes watch Jaws for the first time, apparently. You psychotic fucking... How do you have a movie podcast and you haven't seen Jaws? What the fuck?
If you remember, the whole premise of this podcast was I hadn't seen many movies, and you were incredulous that, like, you haven't seen blank? No. So you made me watch a bunch of shit. And I will have you know that I have watched certain portions of Jaws dozens of times.
That's even worse.
Dozens,
even worse.
Maybe even 100 times I have seen certain parts of Jaws.
Even worse. somehow.
It was one of the few VHS tapes that I had as a child that had actual boobies for just a brief second.
So that's the part that Kelly has seen hundreds of times.
Yeah, I watched
back
the
to back
opening
to back
scene
to
where
back
she
to back
jumps-
to back to
she-
back.
Yeah, she gets naked and gets into the water. Like, I don't know, whatever age I was, 12-year-old me or whatever, when you start like trying to like seek out boobies. Yeah, I watched that
it's
part
like
a
2
lot.
seconds
And then
of
rewound
boob,
it,
you psychopath.
And then played it again. And then he rewound it and played it again.
Well, you know, when you're young and impressionable, it doesn't take much. And you live in the pre-internet era. Like,
See, what you were missing was the story of what happens to the boobs and the character development.
no,
of
I
the
saw that
boobs.
part.
Oh,
I saw the death part enough, like, because, you know, if you're busy with something when you're watching that scene, you can't get to the VHS to hit stop at the right time. So it fucks with your brain. No, we'll talk
Right?
about that tomorrow.
That explains so much about you, Kel.
Hey, some people are just into shark porn, okay? Shark Week has a completely different meaning to some of us, but there are dozens of us.
He was getting off to a shark attack show. No. Yes, Chandler watches shark porn.
But that has been us for this week. For screen share.
what were you? What were you gonna say? You said it's like a
Screen
hard
share? I don't know what.
Cream share. That is
screen share.
That is something completely different.
I'm Kelly.
I'm Keith.
I'm Jamie, and I think we just found our porn name.
Cream share and chill.
That's us reviewing porn flicks coming in 2027.
Well, it certainly calls for a dirty.
I'm going to call the police. Call anybody you want. They